recorded.
Roy's awesome.
That is so true. You want to see my pickle? My brother.
Is it bourbon?
No, my brother got me a yodeling pickle for my birthday.
A yodeling pickle.
Yep.
Oh, that sounds good.
Okay, so tell them here. Put the headphones on. Tell them what you think of the yodeling pickle.
The pickle is going to be the death of
You don't like
It gives us some disturbing insight into his family.
They don't like my pickle.
Karen.
Put that on the shelf next to the bobble he had.
Right.
that was me.
Hey, you too. Out.
Willa, come on.
Okay, you're rude. Go out. Well, you're rude. Can I get some barbecue sauce while you're being rude? No. Please? No. Come on, I'm sure. No. Some steak tips.
So, Bernadette, what was the good job from Christine from?
I guess looking at Peg's questions.
She nailed the quantitative.
And I kind of, if you go back and look at my notes, I only missed a couple of things.
Awesome. Missed nothing.
So, Christine said, good job.
So maybe you can just take our comprehensives for the rest of us.
Just because I nailed the study sheet does not mean it's up here and I can recall it the day of the test. That's going to be the trick.
You'll be fine.
Well, Karen and I, we already have a pact. We're going to take our laptops under the desks for our comps, where we feel right at home.
I'm gonna wear
Into our blanket forts.
My Google glasses. They'll be on there.
Roy, I have a question for Peg.
Okay.
I want to know if we are allowed to use scrap paper to handwrite our comp and then type it.
Yeah, she said that. Yeah. She said yes to that already.
Oh, good.
But from a timing standpoint, Anita, you will find yourself in a bind if you try to handwrite and then type. That's only my opinion.
Yep.
So outline, great. I think anything more than outline will put you potentially in a time bind. And again, remember, she said it may not take the full 3 hours, so maybe you'll be fine. But
I'll practice the other way then.
Yeah, I mean, I think you just need it. Yeah. Just mute for a second.
He wants some barbecue sauce.
You got it wrong, Roy. Brown gravy goes on beef tips.
No, barbecue sauce goes on everything.
Well, that's true.
What's that tattoo on your arm?
That's the one I got of the salamander.
Oh.
It's not real. But it lasted over a week. I get it on my birthday. I get it on my birthday every year. It washes off.
Is there a salamander story?
He's offering it to Willa. Willa, come in the picture.
Hi, Willa.
Hey, Willa.
What?
Hey, Willa.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good.
You having good fun on your vacation?
Yeah.
Good.
Is your dad being nice?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, he better.
Yeah.
I'm Kathleen. Right here, Kathleen.
That's Willa for you.
Barbecue sauce doesn't go on everything.
Barbecue sauce goes in everything.
No, it doesn't. If you
we like our condiments in this family.
If you put it on like fruit, it won't taste good. If you put it on a light bulb, it probably won't.
Light bulb.
Oh yeah, grapes and bananas dipped in barbecue sauce. Yum.
All right, I got. We're waiting. So it's 7:26. Did anybody say they weren't joining us?
Do we hear from Karen?
From who? Karen's here.
I hadn't answered either way because I've been sick today, so I didn't know if I'd be able to make it.
But you're here. So who are we missing? We're missing Chris
Christine and Pauline.
and
Hope
Sydney.
you feel better.
I thought Sydney had a board meeting tonight.
She has a conflict on this night. I know that.
Yeah, I think she has a board meeting.
Are you feeling better, Karen?
Not really. As long as I don't eat, I'm fine. But
Yeah. I've had kind of stomach problems today too. I don't know. Maybe it's in the wind, huh?
I think it's
much-
a 24-hour thing. My son had it yesterday.
Okay. Too much ice cream under the table, huh?
It's a
Yeah, I
strong,
think so.
strong wind to Utah. Who's presenting tonight?
Christine?
Docket.
You are, Anita? Okay.
Yeah. I'm going to be brief.
Brief is good. I sent some stuff out today on Yin. It is a regurgitation of something he wrote. I did take no original authorship, but I like the way he broke it down. And you'll see in Peg's note, she talks about Creswell. So I'm going to do some stuff on Creswell, and we'll talk about that next week.
Okay.
What's the weather been like there in Maine today?
It's nice. It's sunny out.
Okay.
We had high 70s, sun, little clouds. The water temperature's nice. The girls were out on the paddleboard and the kayaks. Grace has been fishing and wants to learn to fish, so she's been fishing. And I went to the library for a little bit. Literally, the fishing pond that we went to is up the end of the street. Everything is within, a quarter mile of where we are, so it's just very pleasant.
Wow.
Typical Maine summer day.
Yeah, it's just very nice. Because we went to places with more to do, we do it.
Yeah.
I could drive over to Kingfield, Maine, to the Stanley Steamer Museum. But we've done that before. Right? We will go up to the Strawberry Festival, which is Aquasic, which is almost 7 miles away. So we may do that on Thursday. Willa's birthday is on Thursday.
Long commute.
Mm-hmm.
We had temperatures about up to 98 today.
Oh, yikes.
We haven't hit 90 since I think the first week of June. We had a really warm day. We haven't hit 90 since then.
I think we've had over 13 days that have been over 100. It's been unusually hot this year.
Yeah, that's too much. Yeah. I'm so glad the people who aren't on can listen to our conversation.
Oh, because we're recording?
Yeah. Unusual that we don't have everybody. Well, Pauline and Sydney, I wouldn't be surprised if we don't have.
Christine, we should because she's presenting.
Yeah, she might be running a few minutes late. She says work's been busy. Kathleen, are you flying out? When are you flying out to go home from the summer retreat thing?
I leave on Saturday.
Okay. Pauline's leaving.
I didn't get my airfare in time to. There's one flight that goes out on Friday, comes out this way, but I didn't get my. It was available when I searched, but the university gave me a little bit of money. And by the time the money came through, the flight was full.
I was just checking because Pauline asked me to give her a lift back, and I was happy to do that. But I could have given you a lift too.
Is she flying out of Logan?
I don't know if I'm driving to. She said her husband might come up. I don't know exactly what her plan is.
Well, I know I'm picking her up from the airport on the flight in, and I'm picking her up at the Manchester airport.
I think she's going in and out of Manchester.
Well, thanks for being willing. I think, Bernadette, are you going to drop me on Saturday? Or else I can take the shuttle. Okay.
Yeah, no, I can drop you off on Saturday.
Thank you.
It's in the morning, right?
I think my flight's at 11 or 12 or something, so I need to be there, you know. You can take me whatever time. I can hang out at the airport.
We'll give it to 7:35, then we'll get started, okay?
Good.
All right, let me mute. Hold on.
Christine's on her way. She's getting off the phone.
Great. Once she gets on, we can get started. Sounds perfect. I'm whatever. It was an accident, my pickle. See if I can keep a signal out here. So here we are. Their lake's back there.
Very nice.
Yeah, it's nice. I haven't shaved though.
Just your head.
Yeah.
I hear your pickle again.
It's in my pocket. My pickle just goes off.
Here comes Pauline.
Okay. Hey, Pauline, let us know when you can hear us. We thought Sydney had a meeting tonight, right? Okay, we got 7 of us. We think Sydney had a meeting tonight, so I think we're in pretty good shape.
All
Sydney
right.
does have a meeting tonight. I'm sorry, you guys. I was talking to my mom. It's like an ending story.
Not a problem. I'm just going to start us off, and then I'm going to mute us. We I got a couple of emails from Peg that I did share today, so just make sure you check your emails.
I read them.
It's consistent with what we've been doing. I think that we're in good shape and it's focused. She says she's going to follow up with one on sociocultural as well. Let's see if she does. But it gives a little frame of reference. I sent you something on yin today. It is completely plagiarized, copied succinctly, trying to capture some key points. But I took something that was at the end, put it at the beginning because I like the way he framed it, just as a thought piece. It's in the document, but I sent it to you separately as well. Okay?
Okay.
I'll turn it over to Chris and the others who are going to present.
Okay. Sorry. So, did you guys talk already about the meeting schedule or the study schedule we sent? Are we all good with it?
Waiting to get everybody on.
Okay. Is everybody good with it? Do we want to try it that way?
Yep.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Alrighty. Thanks.
I didn't see it, so I don't have a comment.
I sent it to everybody in an email.
Yeah, check it out. It just broke the day down. It just was a logical way of organizing ourselves. I really appreciate Chris doing it.
Sounds good.
Okay. Look at it. Anyway, well, there's 12-year-old me getting distracted by silly things again.
Atomic fallout.
Oh man.
Oh,
no, he left. There was so much better.
Nothing happened.
Now we can't hear you. If you're talking to us, Roy, we're not hearing you.
No, it's back. I'm sorry. The network here is lousy, so just go ahead. And if I drop out, I'll try to get back on.
Oh, okay. Anyway, sorry. So, his coding. She has created something called constructivist grounded theory, where she riffs off of kind of Strauss and Glaser. She comes from a social constructionist viewpoint, where she believes that, just like all social constructionists, that we, create all the realities and we create all the things that we do. She sees Glaser as very much more positivist and coming from a much more objectivist place. he would not necessarily agree with that. He writes constantly, and they're all sociologists, and so if you know sociologists, they all think too much anyway. But so, you know, at the expense of trying to make it overly complicated, I think the bigger deal is to probably really look at the stuff that I summarized for you from Creswell, to be honest, and I put names in there so you could kind of understand it. Creswell tends to focus on a little bit on Strauss, probably more than at least I think he should. I don't think he's a big fan of grounded theory, to be honest. But he explains it pretty well. The biggest deal is if you were looking at something for comps, I would say it's really about, you would use it if you were looking at explaining a process, how people do something. And what how do they, what happens to them while they're doing it? What is it that they're thinking? What is the thought process they put toward it? What is the emotional process that happens while they're doing something? So it's they call it processual. And it's really popular in nursing. It's probably the most used methodology in nursing. So everything is data. If you want to quote, if you want to sound smart and you're talking about grounded theory, quote Glaser and say everything is data. So that's why the lit review happens after the first round of coding and data collection, because the lit review is just a data point. And the idea is that you're going into this trying to rise above as much as you can your own preconceived notions, to go in not really knowing what you're going to find. You go into the question, obviously, and you start asking about that question and seeing if you can start to find things that coalesce around that question. And as you find more things, you go out specifically to places you think are going to tell you more about that thing. And that's kind of how it works. You could use quantitative data, you could use qualitative data, you could get in the middle of it. You think it's a qualitative approach, but you could get in the middle of it and do some kind of quantitative work and bring it back in as a data point and then continue to work on the qualitative piece. So in that way, it's really flexible, and you can see why it could take people forever and ever and ever to do. Mm-hmm. So if you want to know more, again, you can read some of the stuff I sent you. I can obviously talk your ear off about it. And I'm going to be honest with you right now, I'm actually questioning whether it's the right approach. So to the question, well, which
can I ask a question?
Super happy for me right now. Mm-hmm.
So a lot of what you describe in grounded theory, for me, overlaps with what I read about in case study, right? Because even in case study, I know it's not the same, but the way you describe it sounds similar. I mean,
well, then let's let me help us differentiate. So where does it sound the same, Roy?
In your process of going out, looking, using different methods to learn what's occurring, so you can figure out what the situation is, right? So in the research I did, and the stuff that I know is, case study, we're making a decision beforehand on case studies. That's the difference, right? We're deciding what we're going to study.
Okay. So excuse me for, I'm losing my voice. Okay, no, so please. You're a case study would be coming up with descriptive information. You're going to do all of your case study work and situate your question within the literature and all that kind of stuff in order to come back with something that describes what it is that you're looking at in the case study. The purpose of a grounded theory study is to come up with a theory grounded in the participants about how something works. Way different.
But I could use, I mean, I'm not trying to be antagonistic in any way here, Chris.
Oh, I know.
I'm just saying and when you pick your case study, you could be looking to make sure that what you learn aligns with that in a similar way you just said that. So it's just I have to parse the difference. It's really my issue, not anybody else's. But that's my problem with a lot of these approaches. There's so much overlap between them.
Well, I do think they all almost daisy chain from each other as people use one and then try to want to find one that works better for their situation, and so they come up with a different thing. But honestly, from a comps point of view, I think what you would really want to try to differentiate in your head, a grounded theory study is going to come up with an abstraction that is a theory, right? I'm not describing squat. I'm not getting in there and saying, this is my description of this is my description of nurses in this hospital and their, what they do when they care for people. I would go in and say, do all of this work and then come out with a theory that says nurses in hospitals with patient, I'm totally making this up off the top of my head. Okay, so let me just use mine if I'm going to do it, right? So then mine would be that I would come up with a theory that explains the emotional process that an adjunct faculty go through in dealing with curated curriculum for their students. I'm not going to go in and describe their experience with it. I'm going to say, a theory is an explanation of something that happens. When they do this, they I'm not sure I know enough to come up with it. But the difference is I'd be coming up with an abstract theory versus a description of something.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're different starting points using similar tools to gather data.
Yeah, because you might interview them and they might describe how they felt, but your study isn't focused on their description. Your study is focused on the commonalities to develop a theory of the descriptions. Yeah. It might be an interview with description, right?
Right.
But
they're going to describe how they felt, and I'm going to code that and go all through that and start to find the commonalities that come up. So I can write something that says that you could test. How's that? I'm going to come up and say, I've done all these interviews and done all this data collection and found all these commonalities, and I'm coming up with a theory that I'm going to posit that this thing happens with adjunct faculty. You should be able to take that and actually test it as a theory in a different study. How's that? But I agree, they all walk on each other.
And sometimes grounded theory comes out of a study that wasn't the intent.
Well, I think grounded theory doesn't come out, and this is probably me now reading too much grounded theory. A grounded theorist would be really frustrated with you for saying that. But a theory might arise from your phenomenological study. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So, but again, now I feel like I've done way too much reading that I can actually nitpick at that. So, for what it's worth, there it is. It is a big fat mess. It's just about as messy as it gets. So anyway, Sharmaz is the social constructivist, and she has an even different way of doing it, this sort of halfway in between Strauss and Glaser. And then there's another woman named, I'm going to forget her name right now. I'll send it to you. Anyway, her name, it's called situational analysis, and she's taken it even a step further, and she looks at the unit of study as a quote situation, and then she puts all kinds of maps in there, and you gather your data and throw it on these maps, draw pictures and lines and circles, and I mean, so much made my head spin. So anyway, that's grounded theory. So not for nothing. I don't know if that helped anything. Questions on that? Okay. Critical theory, almost more of a philosophy than, in some ways, a philosophy than a methodology, except that you really are trying to get at certain things if you're applying it. Critical race theory or queer theory or disability theory or any of those that I sent you are actually posted, and then I sent you, again, far more articles than you ever want to read, but I figured if I read them, you might want them. You can absolutely ignore them. But it really is obviously about getting at the disenfranchised and making sure that those voices are heard in the way that those voices need to be heard. And I think that is probably the best way to say it in a nutshell, right? So you can't say, oh, critical theory is the same as critical race theory, is the same as queer theory, is the same as disability theory, etc. Because each one of those focuses, their voices need to be heard in different ways because their experiences in life are different. So you're not going to use disability theory and try to develop their voice in the same way you would develop voice in queer theory. Queer theory is about identity and, you know, where you stand on the spectrum of gender and sexuality. And that's not what disability theory is looking at. Disability theory is looking at what it's like to be a person in a world that sees you as other, and etc. But all of them are about doing the work from the voice and perspective of the marginalized group and allowing that marginalized group's voice to be heard. So there. All right. That was it.
Thank you.
Sure. I don't know if we had more or not.
I'm on.
Anita, are you talking to us tonight?
Yeah, I'm just going to give you 3 resources that are posted into the research methodology document that's shared amongst us. There's a nice little summary that is first on the list of the 3 items, and it's just a link to a mixed methodology summation. It does a nice job of encapsulating Creswell, his 6 mixed method design strategies, and the 4 decisions that you would need to make in order to select mixed method design. And then it has a rundown of the basic characteristics of mixed methods, why you should use them, the strengths and the weaknesses. So it's just a very handy 2 pages. You know, I can read it to you if you want, but you can see it yourself. And then I recommend a book from a series that Sage Publishers developed on mixed methods. The 3rd book in a series of 5 is called Mixed Methods Research, A Guide to the Field. It's written by Vicki Plano-Clark and Natalia Ivankova. Very thorough. Puts forth a socio-ecological framework for understanding mixed methods, which is pretty intriguing. It's early on in the book. So it gives a conceptual framework. It's a very relatively new approach for research. Hasn't been around very long. There's 5 other books, or 4 other books in the series that you can get. One of them's kind of, the last one in the series is just for people doing health science research, so it's not applicable. But the others are interesting. I didn't, you know, each book is $38 if you bought it new. So I just bought one. And
Anita, can I interrupt a second? Anita?
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. The names that you just gave of the book that you were talking about, is that Clark and Ivankova?
Yes.
Are those like, quote, the names in mixed methods, or is there a name in mixed methods?
So I would not say, I mean, Creswell, of course, because he came up with the 6 mixed method design strategies in 2003.
He came up with them, or he summarized them?
I think they're his.
Okay,
sequential
thank you.
Explanatory, sequential exploratory, sequential transformative, concurrent triangulation, concurrent nested, and concurrent transformative.
Okay,
and
thank you.
Each one has a separate purpose. So I like to start with the purpose of the study and then make, you know, kind of work backwards as to which of them to go with. And it's just a great little reference sheet. It's got everything kind of wrapped up and ready to roll for the purposes of comps. I think you'll all find it very useful to just print it out. And then the two writers for this particular book that I bought, the field guide, I did, the other books in the series are not written by the same two people. And so there's actually quite a diversity of authors that are featured in this series on mixed methods. None of whom are the big names that we've talked about, you know, Creswell or what you call it here, got a bunch of them.
Patton.
If you go through the books that we were required to read when we did the qualitative class with Lorraine, none of these books written by the Sage publishers are written by any of those folks. And I went through those books to try to find things on mixed methods, and it's kind of sparse to find anything in those. So that's why I dug deeper and tried to find other resources.
Okay.
The Johnson and Allen Good-Boozy book is one, but none of them go into a lot of depth. So I thought this would be helpful because this goes into a lot of depth. And I actually bought the copy of the Mixed Methods Research Guide to the Field, which is the book 3 that I mentioned. I still have you guys?
Yep. Great.
Yep.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks for the
It's very brief tonight. I didn't make a long do.
Do we have anybody else for tonight to present?
I don't think so. I think Karen and Bernadette switched with me. I didn't know how long it would take for us to talk about grounded theory. I am going to complain though that I think I have to change my whole study.
Oh.
Just tell me, just feel sorry for me, please, because I need it.
We will support you.
Thank you.
What are you thinking of
It's
changing?
good that you figured it out though. You didn't go down the trail too far, you know?
It is. I agree, Anita. I don't know. I don't know, Pauline. I don't know if I'm just feeling sorry for myself and now it's kind of like, why, let's dump it all in and start all over again. That seems kind of stupid.
I don't think you need to.
I probably don't, but you know, like I said, I'm feeling 12 today and the 12-year-old just wants to have a tantrum and throw it all in the trash. Not just what I really think, you guys, is that I'm just not sure that it's going to get at what I want to get at. And I don't know how to ask what I want. And, but I think that I need to not go down this rabbit hole right now. And I need to finish these damn exams so that because then that would still, whatever, I still have, Anita's right. I mean, I haven't committed anything, you know, to such an extent that I can't change it, you know, by any stretch. And if I could get past these stupid exams, I think, and I think I could probably still, you know, make a complete U-turn, which I don't think I need to do either, Pauline, but to make you know, I could probably make a complete U-turn and still present in the fall. Do you know what I mean? So I know I'm not like having a panic. I'm just so bummed. It's like, oh my God, seriously?
But, you know, you should talk to some other folks on your committee or whoever else you can to make sure that you're not prejudging something based on the research, that there's still a way to do it that way, or perhaps not. But, you know, have that conversation. But I agree with you. I wouldn't worry about that till after the comps. You know, give yourself a month, and then we're there, and then we move forward from whatever position we're at.
It was one of those things as while I was doing all this study on grounded theory, I was trying to put it all together for you guys in a chart. And while I was doing that, I kept going, well, that doesn't work. Well, that doesn't work. And I think the bigger deal for me is that, you know, they make this big deal about how if you're going to follow Glaser, which is what I wanted to do, then you must see the world in a more positivist manner. Well, I don't, you know. So if you see the world in a more constructionist manner, or, you know, or more, then you're going to have to follow Sharma's or some of these other people. Well, I don't like the way they do it. So it's like, well, then I must be asking the right thing. And then I thought, well, what do I really want to know? Okay, do I really want to know that? And I don't really give a crap how they manage their curriculum. What I really want to know is, you know, I want to know how they experience, how they, I want to get at the control factor, you know. I want to get at, there are power dynamics in these relationships that you can't even see because they're online, you know, and that's where I want to get. I'm sorry, what?
It sounds like phenomenology.
Well, it may end up being that. You're right. Which I've tried not to do also because it seems hard, quite frankly.
Join the club.
So anyway, you know, and so I do. I just keep telling myself literally, you know what, seriously, knock it off. Get through these stupid exams and then figure it out, and you still have time. If this were the fall right now, this would be a different story for me.
Yeah, I'd say tuck that in your pocket. Just tuck it away. It's not anything you're going to take out and look at 100 times for the next month. It's just going to stay down in that deep pocket till we're through keeping me
awake.
Well, again,
that's the thing that wakes me up at 3 a.m.
I don't see why you couldn't try to reach those same goals potentially with a case study approach where you're looking at different scenarios and seeing what you learn about that topic. I mean, all your research would be valid, all the other stuff would be valid, except you're trying to define it beforehand, right? So that's challenging in and of itself. But you know, I think you can look at different angles that might get you close enough.
Yep. Yeah.
Our orals are done on Tuesday at Indian Head. You've got all the way from Tuesday to Friday to talk to your advisors and the other people on your committee.
And, you know, Karen, thank you for saying that for 2 reasons. 1, thank you. 2, so I really feel bad about this, but that's why I need to tell you guys this. So I don't know that there's a time when I have ever not told you that my work was blowing up and going crazy. And yet it seems to continue to blow up and go crazy, and the explosions get bigger every time I tell you. So by a perfect storm, me and the other director and my AVP are out the same week. And there is a big meeting on Thursday, and somebody has to be there. So I'm going to drive to the meeting in the morning and come back. So I'll be gone on Thursday from like 8 to 2. So I'm really, really, really sorry, and I apologize. It's not very cohorty of me, but
I found a lookalike for
if somebody's
team that we're bringing in.
Team.
And
say again.
We're bringing a lookalike in. We're hiring someone, and they'll sit there. And no, Chris and I talked about this, and you know, this is where we support each other. I understand the rules of that Peg puts on and why that's the case, and we have to be respectful of that. But we will all support it. We will make sure we're available online to her. We'll do whatever it takes to make sure that she's fully involved and engaged. But you know, this work stuff's critical. I could tell you it's a hard time for me to go too, but we're going to find ways to do it. We're all going to have to step away at times and do other things. Once we get past the orals, they can tell us where we need to be, and we will be there. But if we're not physically there, we'll be there together some other way. So we have your back on this, Chris.
Yeah. Thanks. I really apologize, you guys.
No need.
I'm the only one who's even in. I'm the only one who's even in the state. So you know, that's kind of the way it's going.
No problem.
And they'll make a decision about our team that we won't like if somebody's not there.
The whole cohort's going down. It's part of our process.
Okay.
All right. Anything else for tonight?
I don't have anything. How about you guys?
Okay. I'm on for next week. Who else is on for next week?
I'm going to be in Vegas.
All right.
You mean to present next week?
That's what I meant, Pauline.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No, I don't think I am.
Yeah, we're going to put you on. No, we're all set. That's great. All right. Sounds super. I'm going to...
1 second.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
I have a quick question. If I don't know if anybody remembers, and it might not matter. It's just in my mind. But do you remember the order of the sequence of the 3 exams at all?
Yeah.
That Peg told us.
Leadership is first. Methodology is in the middle, and sociocultural is last.
Okay.
And it's 1 to 4 Friday, 1 to 4 Saturday, 1 to 4 Sunday.
Right, and even Sydney
you.
may need
Friday,
a special
Saturday,
exception
Sunday.
on one of those days. Take it at a different time, which
Yeah.
Sydney's
was about. And I
Okay,
will.
thank you.
I'll email with Peg just to Anita, thank you, and I trust you. I just want to email to confirm that, and then Chris and I will send that out.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sydney is taking Saturday before we take Saturday. So she's going to do like the 4 hours before our 4 hours, or 3 or whatever it is.
Text us the answers. And
Yes.
Kathleen, I just wanted to get an update on my neck. All right, I'm going to have my pickle sign us off.
Oh, geez. Bye, you guys.
Right.
Bye,
See ya.
everybody.
Have a nice night. Good night.
All right, nice, Kathleen.